Hello, I'm Connor, one of the product managers here with More. Today I'm going to be talking you through one of our new exciting features called Management. This feature really provides you the opportunity to add in some of the extra lease and management, as well as property management information that we haven't been able to add onto the platform historically. So let's have a look at some of the key features we have here, starting off with this tenancy and lease history component. So this really enables you to add in the both current and historic information around tenants and lease agreements. So they do work independently of each other. So what that means is it really allows some flexibility around people sort of coming in and out during different lease terms, or if you've got, say, a share house where there's multiple tenants there rather than just the one individual or a family. So how we go about that is like I just showed here, we add the tenancy or we can add the lease, any particular order. So let's just add in, first of all, a bit of a identifier. So you can use the tenant's name, of course, or anything you wish there. Then we can enter in the start and the end date. So if it is an ongoing tenancy and there's no sort of end fixed term, then we can leave that vacant. So let's add this as a historic tenancy agreement here. So we'll have that from the start of 24 going to the start of 25 there. Okay, so we can see that added there. We can also now add the lease agreement. So we'll do the same. We can, of course, leave the end date empty if it's current, but because we're going back adding historic information, let's just have that end at the start of the year. Let's choose a fixed term here, and now we can choose the tenant that was here during this lease agreement. So here we can add a new tenant if we didn't have one pre-existing, or in fact it wasn't Lisa, but we know it is Lisa here. If we then click out of this area, you can see there's a new drop-down field link here. So this is where we could add another tenant if there were multiple tenants during the lease, or we can just leave it as just Lisa. We can now see there's property income. So this is the rental return that happened during this time period. So we can click down and look at the income card here, and we can also see the historic log. So this is where we can update for historic values, any sort of rent that occurred during that time. So let's say in 2024, we don't actually have an entry here. So let's add an entry here at the start of this lease agreement. Let's say it was $530 a week. And we'll now have that historic value. So we can see over time we had in 2023, it was 525 a week, and then increasing up to 550 now. So we can exit out of that and add that in there. And now we can see that the lease agreement here has been shown from the dates we entered, as well as the rental income that occurred during that time. So it will pick up the most recent income that occurred between the dates here, and that would happen for if we added in different lease agreements over time. If we added one, say for 2023 and so forth, it would determine the rent that occurred during that lease there. So we can add multiple different leases and tenants over time, really giving you that historic value of understanding when different lease and tenancy agreements started and stopped over the years. Here we have the property management information. So this is similar to what we've previously had, but really now enables you the understanding of previous property management as well. So at the moment, we only had the current property manager, but this allows you to add in the historic and changing property managers you've had over time. So let's just say it was Ray White was the property management firm, and we can add in, let's say, John as the property manager here. We can add in a contact number for John, and then the start and end date. So let's just say from 2023, he's been our property manager, and we can leave the end date clear because it's still current. Now we can see any linked property management fees. So these are cards that are linked to the property, and the type of card is a management fee. So this enables us to track the fee, the budgeted fee that we're expected for the property manager over that time. So if there's one currently already in the platform, we'll see that here. But we can also add additional fees if we haven't added one previously, or there's a second one that we need to add. So let's just leave that as is for now and add that in. And now we can see John as the current property manager there. Let's say that we had a different property management company here previously. And we want to add that historic information. So let's just say from 22 all the way up to 23, we had this agency before John took over as the property manager. So we can then add that historic information in, and here we can see the historic property manager. So this just gives you a bit of a way of tracking who was managing the property at different periods of time. We then see here the compliance information field. So this provides you really around the next due date of different compliance checks, and really is a reminder for upcoming events as well. So let's add in the smoke alarm here. Let's say it was last completed a couple of months ago, and we need to complete this on a yearly occurrence. We can then see that next due date automatically pre-fills here. There's a note section if you do want to add in any notes, such as who it was that completed the compliance check and so forth. Now let's add in that check that we need to complete. So here we can see the last date that the check occurred, as well as the next due date. Up on this timeline, the event timeline up here, we can actually see this icon here telling us when that occurred over time, and we can change that for different time periods. So here we'll be able to see the rental income and the lease information that we entered previously, as well as that icon for the compliance information that we've just checked there. So now let's say that the date has passed and we've completed that, so we can tick the little plus or tick icon there rather, and then enter in a new completion date. So let's just say we've entered that in today. And then again, with the 1 year frequency, we now have a new next date for that completion. We can now update that. And then it will give you a next date reminder for when that occurrence should next happen. So we can add different compliance information here, just dependent on what sort of compliance requirements your property has. If there's, say, gas or a swimming pool and so forth. And if we have missed any that you do need, you can add another one here. Name it, whatever your heart desires, whatever is required here. And again, add the last completed date, frequency, and next date. If you haven't completed the check before, say you've just purchased the property or so forth, then you can leave that last date completed empty and just have the next due date completed here as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video and sort of looking at our new management feature here. Feel free to have a play and provide any sort of feedback or thoughts or next features that you'd love to see on the platform to help manage your property. Thank you. Bye.